And I think he got it from Turning Red, but he's always like,
that's cute. Oh, he may be a DJ. Hey, Peanut. DJ Peanut. That'd be cool. I actually like that.
But it's so funny because I couldn't quite get it. And I was like, I like your beatboxing that you do, Peanut. I'm like, am I doing it right? And I wasn't at first. I was like, he was like, no. He was like, no, it's boots, katsa, boots, katsa. I was boots, katsa, boots, katsa.
Okay. We jamming. We rolling. I know, right?
And then he's got this other song he sings. It's chicken macaroni hanging with my homies.
You know what? That reminds me of me this week because I have my Triple F Queen theme, right? And so, I had wrote a whole song during the pandemic, and then I had come up with a second verse. And I was just rapping in the shower, and then I came with my sister, and she was like, "Oh, that's nice. I like that." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Triple left." "Triple left." Enough said. Yeah, that's me. Fun, fine, and beautiful, natural beauty. Homegrown on that Nigerian spice. Eba Efa on a plate of jollof rice. My sister was like, "That was nice. That was nice." I was like, "Yeah." Oh my God, I have so much trouble remembering my own lyrics. I was like, y'all. By the way, how y'all doing? It's your girl, Triple F Queen Bola.
No tagline with.
Exactement. And we are BlerdTalk with Bola and Whitney.
Hey, hey, hey.
Yes, and what I was saying was, during the pandemic, one of my activities was writing songs. And so I had written like 12 songs, 13 songs.
Where are these songs at, girl?
On my Google Drive.
And
I recorded them on my phone.
Out in the world, girl.
I record because I need to. Y'all, hey, anybody who makes music, hit a chick up because I would love to put my songs to some music, but I don't know how to do any of that. I can play the cello. I know some things about music.
Some beatboxing. Get Peanut
I can
on
pretend. Yes, Peanut. Come on up, little man. Come on up. How old is your cousin? How old is your nephew again?
This is Peanut. He's the oldest one, 5.
Yeah. So come on, young nephew. You know, DJ Peanut. I like it. Anyway.
And then I did it wrong another time, and then my youngest nephew Eli is like, no. That's not how it goes. It's boots and katsa, boots and katsa.
So I'm all for it, but girl, I had written those songs and I had just left them there. I had recorded, I was sharing them with friends, but again, it was just like me doing the vocalizations, just using my voice as my music, and so I was like, my Triple F Queen theme is bam, 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 boom, boom, boom. So I grabbed my purple bag and I walked down the street, feeling so good cause I'm loving me. I fun, finding fabulosity, and you don't wanna mess with the Triple F Queen. I know I look good, baby, and you wanna get down with the Triple F Queen. So come and dance here with me, and it's always good vibes with the Triple F Queen. Ba da ba 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 da boom boom boom. Hey.
Yeah, it's fire. I love it.
Thank you. And I was working on No Tagline Wit, remember? No Tagline Wit. Always on a techie vibe, but she can keep it lit. Hey, keep it lit. Whitney keeps it lit, but I just forgot the rest.
Dude. Yeah, we need to do like a video. You should post that to your TikTok.
We really should. I need to finish writing your little song, and then I have to finish writing mine. I got 2 verses, but can I say them all at once without stopping or getting tongue-tied? I don't know. Your girl likes to sing, but she's not a rapper extreme, okay? I just be channeling my inner Lizzo, and then that's it. But I just find it fun. So good up to Lil Peanut. Yeah, so, oh my gosh, guys, this is unprecedented. We decided to do another anime.
Another one.
This time a series.
Or as, what is it, as DJ Khaled said, and another one.
So much fun, y'all. So much fun. Yeah, so this week episode is going to be about the shoujo anime Fruits Basket.
Oh my God, it's so good, you guys. And actually, I can't remember the original one that well. Bola, tell them the background about original versus like new.
Well, actually, honestly, they're the same. It's just that they had updated some things because back then, there was no smartphones, so there was none of that in the show. And then also the animation style had changed, but the story had actually stayed the same. They just updated a few parts, and just made it more dynamic. And it's mostly the music and the animation style. It's just up to date. So
when did the original one come out?
The original one I noticed came out in 2001.
Really?
Actually.
Oh, wow.
It's very. That's why the anime looks a little more flatter. It doesn't have as much dimension as the current ones do.
Okay.
So I didn't even know that because I remember we were watching it back in like 2009 or 8, and I had assumed that's when it was out. But when I went to look at it originally on Hulu, it said, 2001. I was like, oh, this anime is really old.
Wow.
Yeah, so the story is like pretty old. But I really like it. So I can't wait to get into it. We're going to get into it later, but we're going to blur it out first. Yay. Okay, first, can we do some topics real quick?
Yeah.
All right, so this is topics in blackness. Black.
Blickety, blackness.
I don't know what it's. We need a sound effect for that.
Blickety,
I don't know what else.
Blickety,
Blackness. Blackness.
Blackness.
Anyway, so your girl has been watching and loving that we have so much new fantasy dramas and shows to watch right now. You know, House of the Dragon is on fire.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan came out, and then now we have the Rings of Power and everything. But what has also occurred with this is that they have decided to do what? Finally cast some black peoples in these roles, in different roles within the films, which of course in this genre previously never existed, because I don't know why, for some reason, in some fake world, they can't have some brown folks, but whatever. But they've seen the detriment of that, and they're like, yeah, why not? Why can't we have some black elves? Why can't we have some black Targaryens? You know what I mean? Or Valyrians, I should say. And so, but the problem is, or some black Jedis. But the problem is what? We have been having backlash. Mad fantasy black backlash for casting a lot of the celebrities and stars that have been cast in these roles are like getting so much like fan hate and all this kind of stuff. They're like, why do this? Why do that? There shouldn't be any, for accuracy's sake, there shouldn't be any black people in them. And I'm just like, shut up. These are fictional places and worlds. Why can't people of color exist in them? And I just been like feeling like on House of the Dragon, there's a family called the Valerians who are Valerian, like the Targaryens. They have like, they come from Valyria, like the Targaryens, and they have like the white hair too. But one of the main characters named Corlys, he's black on the show, and his children are mixed on the show. And his wife was a Targaryen, so the kids appear mixed. He even has a brother that's on the show that's also black. But that actor has been getting so much like hate and racist remarks, all because of his casting. One of the women that got casted on Obi-Wan, her name was Moses. I don't know if she's a Jedi or just like somebody that was, I know she'd be fighting. Don't forgive me, I'm not a Star Wars fan, so I don't like follow it. So I don't know, but I know Moses, I know her character, and I know she's been getting a lot of hate. That even Ewan McGregor himself had to come out and be like, what is this? Let's not even do this. This is stupid. And then also, recently, which has pissed me off because I love Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power series just came out, and now people are over there talking about why there's some black hobbits and black elves. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's just too much, Whitney. I'm just like, I'm over it. And I just had to bring that out because I was like, it was something that I'm like, y'all need to get over and get with it, okay? We're here to stay. If you don't like it, you can go make your own little white supremacist world, okay? But on fantasy world, we're like, let's reflect what we see. And it's not just like black and brown, but also some Asians. Let us see more of them in these worlds. What's the problem? What's the problem? And that's my topics in blackness. Wait, actually, Whitney, go ahead and comment if you want or not.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, like, there was some type of tweet that was regarding, like, the Rings of Power or something, and somebody had asked Neil Gaiman about his opinion on it. Because Neil Gaiman is, like, a really well-known fantasy author, does some really awesome stuff. Like, yes, he did the writing for... They adapted it for Netflix. So Lucifer and also American Gods and a recent Netflix one.
Lucifer.
Yep. And also The Sandman.
He also did Coraline.
Was it? Did he? I thought
he wrote the original Coraline.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that. But yeah, so someone asked him, like, they were like arguing about the different stuff, and he basically like clapped back at someone. They're like, so and so isn't black in the book, and he's like, actually, you should go back and read your Lord of the your Tolkien, because it says they were browner of skin, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. Look at that. Look at that. All loud and wrong. Just because this is why representation matters, folks. Because we need to get these haters out of here. Okay, you have no place in our little world of fantasy. You have no place. Haters, racists. Bye bye. Okay,
bye,
you have
bye,
been
bye.
kicked. Bye bye. We're talking about it again.
I love how you just jumped in.
Yo, I was like, we're talking about this again. It's like a trigger. You're like, anybody says it, and it just automatically pops up. You can do it anywhere. And it was like, bye, 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 bye.
Oh, dude, we should make a TikTok video of just being in different places.
Yes!
And then, bye, and then have someone just jump out of nowhere.
Be like, dum, 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 dum. That's so funny. TikTok idea taken. Oh my goodness.
Man.
Anyway, also I would like to comment. This is another Topics in Blackness. Mm-hmm. We all know that the Queen Elizabeth has died. She died yesterday.
The Queen is dead.
Thursday, actually.
Long live the. When they say that phrase,
they say long live the king now, because the Queen's already died. So now
I was never sure about it, because a lot of times through history it's very rare that there is a queen. So they will always be like, the king is dead, long live the king. So I'm like, are they saying that? Okay, but it makes sense.
They're
now.
saying long live the other king, or whoever's
the upcoming,
next.
The newest one. Okay.
And then they usually say God save the queen. Mm-hmm. But she's been the queen so long. That's why people have been saying she's been the queen so long.
She's so old.
I'm not going to lie. It was a shock to me, because I was like, what? I didn't cry or anything. I didn't have no visceral reaction.
But I was like, it was surprising, not surprising, because she's just been around for so long.
The royal family, especially her, they are so well preserved, and I'm just like, oh, she got a couple hundred, like a year, 100 years at least. I was surprised. I was
think
like,
I read an article yesterday that said that
on.
She's the longest reigning sovereign in history.
Yes, no king or queen has ever reigned as long as her in British monarchy history. I don't think anybody else has in all of history, because usually they be killing folks off. So the plague or the bubonic, all that stuff.
Yeah, we have longer lives now than back in history. So that just with that,
with the tax dollars, the royal family is very well preserved. Anyway, but I'm just gonna say this, Whitney.
Did her consort? What was his name again?
Philip died last year.
Mm-hmm. I wondered to myself.
It was kind of poetic. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, because I almost thought of like that movie. What is it? You know the one I'm talking about.
The Notebook.
Yes, thank you. You knew exactly what I'm talking about.
Hey, we're in sync. We're in sync.
I was like thinking to myself, yeah, we are. But I'm like, if he hadn't died, I wonder if she had lived longer.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, it was so interesting, because I was like, he died like November, and it's almost close to November. Mm-hmm. She only stayed around a few months just to meet the new prime minister, and that's it. Like she literally met the new prime minister sometime this week, because they have a new prime minister now.
Oh, okay.
She's a female. Yeah, Boris got kicked to the curb, so they kicked him to the curb. So they got a new prime minister. It's a female, and then she died the next day.
Okay.
At least on Thursday. Thursday was. But my thing is, this is why this is the Topics in Blackness, because you'd be like, Bola, why are you talking about the queen? She ain't our queen. And then I remember my mom was saying, oh, the world's grandmama. And I was like, she ain't my grandma. That's what I said. But Black Twitter, big ups to Black Twitter. I have been dying of laughter and just be like cringing, because Black Twitter has blown up about the queen. Like, first of all, there have been a lot of negative comments about the Queen's passing, because, for what she stood for, a lot of people see her as a representation of white supremacy, colonialization, oppression of a lot of people. Mm. Even if it's not her herself, it's what the monarchy stands for. Mm. And as a representative, she's just getting all this backlash. Not to mention, people loved Diana still more than the Queen. So I was just watching memes of like, what Princess Diana's gonna be doing to her in hell, like slamming the door to her, she can't come into heaven, or just like giving a side eye, like this is what Diana would have wore to her for her funeral if she was alive. I was like, there was so much going in, like it was funny but also messed up. I was like, people are angry. It's a visceral, but it's Black Twitter going in hard on like, why do we care about this? It's so interesting. You gotta like look, just watch, go to Embracing Black Culture's Instagram, and you will just see just pages, this slide. It was so much. My sister was sending, I was just like, I did not know Black people would have such a visceral reaction. Like, they were like, Indians, even the Irish, they were like, showed a video of the Irish, like, now that the Queen's dead, they were like, the Irish were like, river dancing in front of Buckingham Palace because they were happy she died.
Dang.
That's what I was saying. It was so much harshness. I don't know, y'all. I'm not for the harshness, but I'm not gonna lie, I was laughing like crazy.
I mean, I always thought that she had a pretty positive reputation.
Yeah, I mean, people, I don't feel like have a problem with her. I think it's what she stands for. And because of that, they just like don't care about her. You know what I mean? Some people are like, they don't understand America's obsession, or people in America's obsession with the royal family, and they're like, "Why are we obsessed?" Because we don't have any royals. We don't have one. Exactly. The closest we have to that, it was Oprah, and I think she had passed by now. But after she lost her show, she had gone down in status. Maybe Michelle Obama, but that's it. I would gladly take her queen. My favorite one was when the memes came out about the black, they were like, oh my God, girl, Black people talking to their sisters or their friends or whatever. And they're like, oh my God, girl, the Queen died. And then you just have them, the other person be like, oh my God, who? Latifah? Then they'd be like, Whitney? Then they'd be like, Mariah Carey? Not J-Lo. They were just listing a bunch of Black singers like Brandy, Monica, Mary J. Blige, and
Beyonce.
Like, well, who exactly? And she's like, well, who is it? And it was just like so many other people they would consider queen over the actual queen. Oh my God, I had to bring it up, Whitney, because I don't know if you saw it, but kudos to Black Twitter. They never fail when it comes to the shots. Like, anyway, all right, go back to you. We can blurt out now.
Oh man, what am I blurting out about? Okay, so I started watching a Netflix series, a new Netflix series.
The Sandman?
No, but I did watch. I don't know if I mentioned The Sandman before on another Blurt Out, but yeah, definitely blurting out about Sandman, because I finished the entire series. It was really good. Neil Gaiman stuff is just really good, period. I've really enjoyed pretty much everything I've ever watched based on adaptations of his work. But yeah, I watched that. But there's another one that Bola will have no interest in. They made a series on Resident Evil. So I haven't finished it yet, but I started on that, and it's...
I saw Mila Jovovich.
Huh?
Mila Jovovich?
Yeah, right? The movies had Mila Jovovich. But yeah, so they made a series on Netflix for Resident Evil. So far, been enjoying it. Haven't watched as much of it because our main topic of today is what I have been like just binge watching my way through.
I can't wait for the blurting out so we can just talk about it, because I really love this anime. This is like my heart. Like,
yes. I just want to I want to find more stuff. We'll get into it more once we start talking about it. But it makes me want to find even more stuff now. But I think that's my main blurred out. Ooh, I'm excited about upcoming. I think that so Broadway in Richmond, the Broadway for this month is my mom told me is Mean Girls. So I'm excited to see that, because I like the movie. I think I actually own the movie on DVD, but I'm interested and excited too.
I think they just took it off Netflix too.
Oh, they did?
They just took it off Netflix.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I love that movie. So I'm excited to see the Mean Girls Broadway. I
haven't seen that movie in years.
It has been a long time. It's probably
been a decade since I've seen it. I thought I should, but then I was like, nah.
There's just some classic stuff. That was where, what's her name? Rachel McAdams got her start.
That's where all of them got their start. Well, except for what was her name? Lindsay Lohan, because she started off as a child actor.
Yeah, she was pretty young when she started.
Well, I can't say all of them, because the one that kept saying fetch, she just never took off. But the other girl, what is her name?
Because she was in the...
she's doing a lot now.
What was the Broadway? She is the
Mamma
dancing queen.
She was in Mamma Mia, and I'm blanking on her name right now. But she's Amanda Steinberg. Siegfried. Thank you.
Or Siegfried. Is there a G in there?
Yeah, Amanda Siegfried. She and Rachel McAdams took off after that. They were constantly in things. I remember she was in the Red Riding Hood movie that I really liked, and she was in Mamma Mia. And she was doing some other stuff. And
that just reminds me of how much I really liked Mamma Mia. And it's really because when I think about it, I was like, there isn't a whole lot of plot in that movie. It's a very kind of loosey-goosey premise.
It's mostly a musical.
Which I guess is the same thing
I feel like the first one was pretty good, though.
Cats really isn't about anything.
I feel like the first one was about something. It's just the subsequent ones, we don't know. That one, I was like, you don't really need these.
Dancing queen,
young and sweet. It's too high for me. My throat is like... I usually, because you're supposed to get high with that song, and I'm like, I can't.
You can dance, you can drive, having the time of your life. Oh, see that girl, watch that scene, digging the dancing queen.
That part comes up first.
That song is so good. Their music is really good. I wonder if they're still alive, the members of ABBA.
All of them, I think, are. I think all of them are.
It's just interesting because you never hear... Well, I guess some people
it's
like...
because they're Dutch or something, Swedish or something.
They're like, we're not about this life trying to be, like, still performing.
Yeah. It's they were from the 70s, so it's like, they old.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll let all the new pop stars take over. All right, so are you done with your blurt out with you?
Yeah, I think I am.
Okay, so I am blurting out because I saw, one... Like I was telling Whitney earlier, but I got my hair dyed this lovely, like, golden brown blonde color. But the dyeing process is just, it was fine. But it was needing a fellow blerd as your hairdresser. Like, she was recommended by my sister. And
which sister?
My sister Toomey.
Okay.
And then she goes to get her hair done with her. And so she was like, yeah, this girl can do your hair. But I just love meeting her. And then she was like so cool. And then she was also a blerd.
I'm sorry, I got to interrupt. You guys, I have not paid enough attention. But as Bola was talking, I was just looking and I saw her earrings. And I'm like, those earrings are awesome.
Yeah, this is Toomey's jewelry. Anyway, shout out to Ayaka's Accessories. Y'all look at it. Hashtag Ayaka, not hashtag.
Pretty awesome.
They're nice, aren't they?
I just now noticed it. I'm like, whoa.
You need to come to my sister's house and just look. She's got a whole jewelry set up because she's got a jewelry business. To me, shout out to Ayaka's Accessories. Just Google it, y'all. Instagram it. And she's on TikTok.
We'll put it in the show notes, you guys.
Anyway, but she told me, and my hairdresser, shout out to Kiki because she's online. And she, if y'all hearing this, hit her up and y'all on RVA. She's a very good colorist and cut and barber and all that kind of stuff. And she can do natural hair. But the girl is also, she gave me so many like recommendations for stuff to watch. And we were all talking about, you know how you could just bond and talk? We were just talking the whole time. I was like, I needed water so many times because we were just talking about different animes, different shows we used to watch back in the day. And she's around my age too. So she's like 31, I'm 34. So we were like watching the same things pretty much. We talked about so much stuff, but it was just so cool to meet a fellow blerd. I exchanged cards and I told her about our show. And I was like, girl, if you watch something, she wants to see our upcoming next episode is going to be about the warrior woman.
The Woman King?
Woman King,
I'm so excited about that. Ooh, that could be
she
a
wants
whole
to watch it
blurred out topic about it. It's on its own. I am super excited.
I'm excited, y'all. Look into that for us coming up. But it was just so nice to meet another blerd. Like, when you recognize yourselves, you're just so cool. And she's just like, I just watched so much anime, and then she gave me some good recommendations. Have you ever heard Attack on Titan?
I have heard of it, but I have not watched it.
And then have you heard of Assassin's Classroom?
I haven't heard of that one.
She told me that Assassin's Classroom was like really good, so I'm just gonna look into those too. But I just love meeting a fellow blerd. Anyway, but I discovered the show on HBO called The Nevers. It's a series I had not known about, or I was watching House of the Dragon, and I just was like, I really wanted to watch something within the same vein. And so I was just looking through HBO, and I was like, what is this? What is this? And I just started looking at trailers of things to see if I would be interested. And then I just saw the trailer for it, and I was like, this looks cool. I love a British period piece, especially Victorian or Regency eras. And the Victorian ones are always usually like the Dickens, and it's more like kind of seedy, darker during that time. So... And then, of course, the Regency ones are always light and fluffy and like about, romances and weddings. But I love the seedy underbelly of like London during the time that you see in the Victorian style. And so, but this one is cool because it's about a bunch of women that some entity or something comes in and like just sprays them all, and certain people get powers and they call them the Touched. And a lot of them are women. Not all of them are women, but a lot of them are women. And then just stuff happens. And the main character of this show is one of the touch, of course, and she goes around kicking ass, taking names, and collecting some of these girls because they're being, used, ostracized, or abused or something because they have these afflictions that they call them when they're really like enhancements to something they already have. And I just think the show was really cool. Also, it had my dude, James Norton, that used to be on Grantchester, that I loved really much. Grantchester is another really good British show. But this one is like cool because it combines the historical with the fantasy. And the powers, and I was just like, I'm really interested in it. So I watched the first couple episodes, so I'm just like, this is good, so I can't wait to finish it. Hopefully it will be really good, and like it sustains, and it just holds up. Okay. But I'm excited about the Nevers. It's really good.
And now I've got to go back and rewatch it.
Have you watched it before?
I watched it while it was coming on, but like I got right to the end. I think I was on like either the next to last episode or the last episode that I didn't end up watching, and then I just got like distracted and forgot to go back to it.
That happens a lot. I still haven't watched the Rings of Power yet, which I will do and let y'all know.
Well, I mean, it's not even done yet. I think yesterday is when the third episode came out.
Yeah, you're right. Because there was 1 and 2 are already out, and then
but I forgot that you don't mind watching stuff from week to week because I usually wouldn't until it was done. But, I'm watching House of Dragon with my mom and my brother.
I love House of Dragon so much.
Oh, my God. It's so good.
I'm like, I don't know about
the intrigue and everything.
Yes,
and
I am so in love with House of Dragon.
And
I love Rhaenyra.
Backstabbiness.
I love it. I love House of Dragon, how it's going so far.
The way that the brother was like, I would rather go and possibly die than accept my brother's help.
Yes, Damon is a G. Damon is a G. He crazy. He a crazy mofo. But he a G, too. I was just like, okay, Damon.
And my mom was talking about, he didn't gone and like disemboweled. I was like, he did not disembowel him. He was cut in half.
Yes, man. Sorry for spoilers, but Damien was doing his thing. I can't wait to see the fallout.
But I'm like, dude, you are like stubborn to a fault.
I like seeing this focus on the dragon because that I feel like Game of Thrones, even though they showed everybody, I still feel like the focus was like the Starks. I just feel like they were the main people. So I feel like even though you had the Lannisters, you had the Tyrells, you had all the other family, the Baratheons. Well, the Baratheons were really
short-lived.
Yeah, it was short-lived. The Cersei's family was the Baratheons. So, aka the Lannisters again. But this one is like, I love going into the history of the Targaryens. Like, I love the Targaryens. I just like, man, they cool. You know what I mean? The Dragon Riders, everything. So I'm excited.
And I want you to like contribute to an argument I was having with my brother. He's like, yeah, I want to see the White Walkers come up. I'm like, I don't think that they're going to come in at all
because they came in Game of Thrones. Like,
exactly.
The Song of Fire and Ice was about fighting the White Walkers and about Jon Snow.
Yeah, and I'm like, the White Walkers were like formed like thousands of years before. They showed how they came into being, and like by the time we get to Game of Thrones, people even forget that or doubt that they really exist. So I mean, I don't know how far before this is. It looks like maybe a couple hundred years or so.
Yeah, it's a couple hundred years.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't think that's enough time for there to be any sign of the White Walkers, because then they probably would have taken them to be more of a threat during Game of Thrones if there had been another sign of them during like this period of time.
Yeah, and I watched the interview of I watch cast interviews to learn stuff, but I watched an interview and it was like Matt Smith, who plays Daemon Targaryen, and then the older, I don't know her name, but the older actress that plays the older Rhaenyra, because I know they're gonna jump up in the season later on, and then Rhaenyra and her friend Alicent are all gonna age up.
All the
former
kids, friends,
slash former friend, slash stepmom. That's some BS right there, but we're not going to talk about it.
So,
but he was saying that this show is titled House of the Dragon. So, of course, and it's like a more insular story, more intimate story. And I'm like, I love that. I love this
that.
focus.
And I told my brother, I was like, they said that the focus is supposed to be a lot more narrow for this series.
Yeah, because Game of Thrones was super wide.
It was.
And I feel like maybe that's why I didn't know what the hell they were doing with the end. But
I mean, they did a good job for a lot of it. It's just really the end.
A lot of it. It was just, they didn't stick they didn't even stick the landing pad. I'm just like, they didn't put the foundation down well. You just stuck it to some sand or something. I was like, damn.
Yeah, well, they didn't even stick it. They were like, they landed, tumbled over, kept rolling, and they're like,
they pretended they were all right instead of going to the hospital and admitting that shit. You know what I mean? Anyway, but so I was blurting out about that, and then last thing I will say is, like, I'm going on about books, but I'm telling you, I've been, for some reason, so interested in romance novels now. Huh. I've been reading Black romance. I always read, like, currently I told you I've been reading a lot more Black writers and African writers. Mm-hmm. But I'm reading this one book called American Royalty. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because it's about it's about England again. It's about a Black rapper from America who's an awesome-ass queen, and goes to England, falls in love with the prince there. And it's very interesting, but I'm just going to say, in these romance novels nowadays, they do not mind being very explicit with the scenes of the, you know what I mean? I'm like reading, I'm trying to drive down. I have a long ride to commute to work, and I'm just like, yo, I did not expect this in the morning. I can't be feeling some kind of way in the morning. I'm just like, So I had to comment on that because I really like these books. I love them all. The different romance ones I've been reading. The novels have been so great, and I was like, for some reason now they're making all the covers so attractive. And I saw them in Barnes & Noble the other day, and I was just like, man, I just want to read all of these. But I was just at the same time, this one is really good. I really like this story. It's called American Royalty. It's my newest book I'm reading. But I'm telling you, with these sex scenes they be depicting, you're like, well, damn. I feel some kind of, I'd be blushing in the car. I'm like, oh my God. But I want to hear more. Anyway, so I'm just reading good, y'all. Y'all check out that book. It's called American Royalty. And that's all I'm blerding out about. The Nevers and American Royalty and meeting fellow blerds.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get into the topic at hand. Go ahead, Whitney.
All right, so let's jump into it. We're doing Fruits Basket.
The
29. It was 2019 when they started. Okay, yeah, and they did 3 seasons, and they had a very satisfying. It's very rare that I can't even think of an anime series where I finished it and it did not have a satisfying ending.
Well, you liked Utano. Or you weren't satisfied with Utano?
I was satisfied with Utano. I found it very satisfying.
Oh, you're saying that you have not seen an anime where this ending wasn't satisfying?
Yeah. I can't think of one. There might have been one, but I just cannot bring to mind.
My thing is, I haven't finished. That's my problem. I've been like moving around so much because I was like, I haven't finished Sailor Moon. Apparently, Sailor Moon came back. And it might be on there, so I might be able to listen to it or go back.
Yeah, because it came back to Hulu. I started watching the new one, and then I just didn't follow through. I just got my show ADD.
Yeah, and then, Ouran High School Host Club ended.
Oh, my God.
A lot of people wanted more, and they were, like, not going to do more, and they're never going to do more.
But it was, like, I was still satisfied with it. I loved it.
I'm trying to watch it again now, because watching these animes have made me remember my love for animes and, like, why I watch them.
I know, the same thing for me.
So I've just been going down the rabbit hole of rewatching stuff.
More. And it's just like,
I'm gonna have to go back and watch Naruto Shippuden so I can find out what happened to Sasuke.
You started me off with like Belle, and now like Fruits Basket. I'm like, now I need to find more because especially like the kind of drama ones.
Yes, that's another thing. It's not all the wham bam fighting ones now that I'm drawn to. Although again, the main reason why I like Naruto, not for the fighting, is mostly because the stories are very good and the characterization, like the issues and the emotions. That's what draws me into the Naruto story. Otherwise, it would be like Dragon Ball Z, where you're just like, there's just a lot of fighting going on here. Y'all in the desert too much. I don't got time.
People have said that, and I never took the time to watch Dragon Ball. But I always started with Dragon Ball Z, which when I was younger, I was a big fan of. But like in my older age now, even though I haven't gone back to watch it, I'm like, this wouldn't be as captivating for me. Because I'm like, there's not that much storyline in between these battles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I did not get captivated by I knew about Dragon Ball Z, but I did not like stay on it or get captivated by it because I was just like, all right, that's why I really preferred Sailor Moon because I was really interested in the story.
I love Sailor Moon.
That, yep.
Fighting evil by moonlight.
Whitney, you sang this last episode.
Stop it. Daylight. Never running from a real fight. She is the one named Sailor Moon.
Okay, she will never turn her back on her friends. She's always there to defend. She's the one that you can depend. She's the one named Sailor Moon.
She is the one.
Sailor Moon. Yeah. Okay, I know.
Oh man, those like the dub version like theme songs from back in the day were like fire though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Dragon Ball. Actually, Dragon Ball Z wasn't as good, but I mean, it was still catchy. Dragon.
I don't know if it's because I watched Ouran High School.
Ball Z. Yeah.
I don't know if I liked because I watched Ouran High School Host Club initially in Japanese, but I prefer because now that I'm watching it in English on Netflix, I really prefer the Japanese songs because they totally because there's only one season. They only have the 2 songs, the opening song, Kiss, Kiss, Fall in Love. And then the other one where it's like, it's just a song at the end, right? And, I was just like, I really prefer the Japanese. I don't know why. It's the exact same song, but it's just like, I just prefer the Japanese.
I think we watched that in
I watched
subtitled.
it in Japanese, that's why.
Yeah, that's probably, I would probably feel the same
mind.
way.
I thought I wouldn't mind the English version. Because I love the Sailor Moon song in English. I do
love that.
I don't love the especially the ending song. Because the ending song is just like this really big, like rock. And you know, Japanese just do rock really well. That's one thing I've always give them for, because I was like, you guys do rock really well. Koreans do pop very well. Now it's like hip hop pop. But I was like, Japanese people got that rock down. J-rock is fire. And I really like that song, so I was just like, nah, I don't know about this. But I'm still watching it, you know what I mean? But I'm just so into, I love the songs that I was listening to. I like that even though this was the dub for Fruits Basket, they still changed the songs up and they were still in Japanese. And I love that. Because, I was like, I got to write these songs down. I got to download them.
They had some really good,
These
especially
the
ending,
songs.
like the final song of the intro. I was like, oh, this is really, really good. But I don't think at least I cannot recall an anime that had this many changes of the intro.
That's the thing. I don't know if you know this, Whitney, but that's the trend now. To halfway through the season, you change the beginning and the closing credits, and you put a new song. And honestly, it's almost like good advertising for the songs, the singers too, because there was one season, I think it's season 2, there was this one song where they were in this Japanese garden, and it was lights and the all the zodiacs were popping up at the end, and it was this acoustic song. Girl, I could not get this song out of my mind. I had to download it and stream it, really, because no one's downloading anymore. I had to Shazam it and find it and stream it, because I was like, the presentation of it was so beautiful.
It really was.
It was so colorful.
Is it the one where they were all walking across, at the bottom?
Yeah, but you the animals were walking, and then you just saw the white in the white lit up.
Yeah, with almost tarot card looking things.
They were cards, and then you could see the person and their animal.
Yeah.
So you didn't really see any of the people, but just the animals. And that song was I love that song.
And it was just I agree with you. Just the songs were awesome, but just the intro and outros themselves, I'm like...
And that's what I'm used to, because when I watched Naruto, that was the theme. That was where I was getting all my music from. I would continuously watch their... the opening credits and see how they did them and just grab songs. I remember I loved one song and one opening so much I learned the romanization to pronounce it. I looked it up, the romanization of the Japanese to pronounce it and sing it. So I learned the song. It was like Yura Yura. I still remember, and I still
remember the dueling arena song. From
exactly.
Zetai unme moku shiroku.
Yes. I remember now. Every time you do it, I remember it more, because I was just like, man, I really need to get we didn't finish Chobits. You know, I never finished Chobits.
Yeah,
because you didn't have all the DVDs. Remember?
Yeah, we should go back.
And it was getting
Chobits.
disturbing, right? Back to Fruits Basket. So if you guys don't know the premise is it's really modern day with a slight fantasy element, where it's modern day Japan. There's a young girl in school. Her mom just died, so she has no one to take care of her, and she goes off with some family members, but even her grandpa can't really take care of her that well. And then one day she's like, okay, well, they don't have space for me until the house renovation's done. I'm going to just sleep in the forest. And her tent where she had her whole little setup, which was crazy to me. And I was like, is there no social services? But anyway, it was near the Soma family's house. Well, Shigure Soma had a house near there. And so, and one of the kids was Yuki. He went to school with her. And they just saw each other one day. And she went to their house. And then she ended up, by accident, touching one of them or hugging one of them, and found out that their family are the Zodiacs. They get their little curse. The whole family's cursed. So not all of the members of the family, but certain select ones are members of the Zodiac, which means they change their bodies into the Japanese Zodiac. And so...
And there's only one zodiac animal per person. So there's only one per lifetime. So once they die, then
another
else
one is born. Yeah, another one can be born.
So there's not going to be like 2 tiger or 2
cats,
cat
2
or
dragons,
anything like that. Yeah.
And so there's difference. And so throughout the series, Toru, who's a regular person, meets like all the somas and just impacts their life. So she's like Toru, like herself. Let's just say, when it comes to the characters, Toru's such a lovable, wonderful character. That she's just too sweet. But I like that they gave
nurturing.
her some. Yes, very nurturing. But I like that they gave her the advice that sometimes she's a little clumsy. Or sometimes she's too nice sometimes, which could be a hindrance. But she is the needed balm of healing that family needs, because there is so much trauma, especially for those who are under the Zodiac. There's so much trauma that they all suffer under because of family dynamics and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, it's a very good show to talk about these kind of issues.
Yeah, and the long-running nemesis / antagonist of the show, Akito.
Oh, man, I hate that bitch.
Oh man, he was such. Until the end, we'll say, yeah, he was a son of a bitch.
I thought he was a he the whole time.
Well, I was saying we're gonna wait till the end to kind of spoil it.
Oh, my bad, y'all.
Okay, anyway,
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. But when I first watched it, I thought Akito was a guy too.
I thought so too. I never suspected until the third season.
Again,
was it the third season or the second season?
It was I think at the end of the second season.
Okay,
they explained that she was actually a girl the whole time. But
which
that
is
was
part
a shocker.
of where the trauma, so Akito ends up having her own trauma, which is why she is the way she is, because she's been twisted.
Explained. Because at first I was like, who's this character that just gets to control and harm everybody in this family, especially all the Zodiacs? Just like, she treats them as her little, like, punishing bags. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or punching bags is what I really mean. And I was like, can somebody check her, or him?
Seriously.
And it was so bad, because I was like,
but Hatsuharu was straight up about to kill her.
Right?
He was like, dude,
yes.
you pushed her off of a freaking balcony.
Just
what is wrong with you?
Just because she didn't like one of the Zodiacs.
She was really, honestly, she was pretty cray-cray.
Yes. And so, so the main people is a bunch of guys, actually. They actually call it, like, reverse harem. That's what they call this kind of drama. Like, anime, it's like a reverse harem, because it's her with a bunch of guys. Because the main people are Shigure, who's the dog. He's an adult, and then her people that are her age are Kaoru. No, not Kaoru. That's around High School Host Club. Kyo. Kyo, Yuki, who is the cat, and then Yuki, who's the mouse. Those are the 2 main guys for her. They all go to school and they're on the same class as her. She has 2 friends as well that are like loved her, that knew her mom, and they try to take care of her. Uo-chan, yeah, and Katsuhara.
No, Katsuhara is the cow.
Okay. Oh my god! And she has like
not
waves.
Katsuharu, because they call him Haru. Oh man, I had it up.
I had it too in my head. But these friends, she has like this wave power. It's weird.
It's so funny when she
does it. So at least she does it, and she protects her friend. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's like, I got you. Ain't nobody gonna hurt you. You know what I mean? But and then throughout the show, I love that you get to meet more of the Zodiacs. And my other one was I keep mixing Honey Senpai from Oran. I shouldn't have watched Oran.
They do look so similar.
Honey Senpai
and
Momiji, who's like my favorite, who was the rabbit. It was so cute.
He was so cute. I loved him so much, and I loved how
when he grew up.
I was like, oh my god!
I love that. He was about to roll. He was like a man. He was like a man's man. He was
only like a year or so younger than her.
He was like, "Kill, if you don't take her, I'm gonna take her from you."
On vacation, it's like, oh yeah, he's actually only a year younger. She's like, what?
Yes, exactly. Because it was like, how do they get away from being all this cutesy stuff? But Japan got their own things that they're into. So sometimes she's like, why are we doing all this cutesy stuff? Even me, I was watching Oran and I was like, why is this like? How is he a third-year high school student? And he's like, cakey. But I'm just like, oh, he's so cute. But Momiji turned into the rabbit. And then you have the extra character. Momiji was like probably the third character that was always there, besides the main 3.
Well, Hatsuharu was there pretty.
Haru was there too.
Not quite as much as Momiji, but maybe probably next down from him.
He was the ox. Haru was the ox. And then funny thing I liked was that even though this is what I didn't get Whitney. Okay, so they're all in the Soma family, but there was like coupling throughout the Zodiac. So there's like 12 of them, right? 12 and 13 plus the cat.
13 plus the cat.
13 plus the cat, and Akito is supposed to be their god figure, which I'm not gonna lie, I always thought Akito was like the rooster. So every time
That's what I was thinking at first too.
Every time we go through the show and we met one of the Zodiacs, I was like, okay, so I was knocking it out. So I was like, Akito must be the snake. Oh, then we met Ayame, who is Yuki's older brother. Okay, so he's not the snake. And I was like, okay, well maybe that means she's the dragon. And then I did not understand that what is the doctor's
Seahorse?
name? What's his name, Whitney? I'm so mad. I'm blanking on his name.
Oh man,
really? This is not right.
It is. There's so many characters.
There's so many characters, but I know exactly. It's just their names. I just gotta get it. Oh, but
the friend was Hanajima.
With
the waves.
That's right. Hanajima. I'm gonna watch Fruits Basket again. But the doctor who was the dragon. I'm not gonna lie.
Something with the H.
He turned into Hattori.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Hattori is the dragon, and he's also the doctor, and he has this power to like, for some reason, he can like erase memories. So whenever people find out and they don't want anyone else to know this family secret, they have to wipe their memories or something. And I was so devastated when they wiped Momiji's mom's memory.
Momiji was one of the most tragic
stories, yes, because he just lost his whole family.
He did.
And I'm like, the dad should have stayed with him. Like, what the hell?
You are a trash father.
Thank you. Everybody was trash. All the parents in this show were trash.
Let's say that. You can't at least let him hang out with his little sister?
The only parent that was good was Toru's mom. Every other parent was trash.
No, sorry. Got to correct you on that.
Why?
The sheep. What was his name? Who was
the sheep's mom. Yes. Hiro. The little badass kid, little naughty, mouthy kid.
But his mom was awesome.
His mom was very lovely and nice. She was.
And knew about it. She was like, oh, I love sheep.
Yeah, but everybody else's parents suck so bad, except for Toru. And I was just like, this show so much talks about like the need for family therapy and all that. There was so much secrets in the Soma family. I don't even know how they were all I guess they were all part of the clan, and they all had to live in this estate. But it was just like Akito was so out of control because of her own trauma.
But I gotta figure that maybe they were kind of not. Some were closer cousins, or some were more distant cousins. Because maybe that's. I'm like, this is a lot. I'm like,
well, how are you and the board getting together if y'all are both Soma? Like, and then I was like, Shigure, how are you getting with Akito? How are you in love with Akito when y'all both are part of the Zodiac stuff, you know? And I was just like, I thought it was interesting that they had a god born into the family as well. And he represented the guy who had the story was that the Zodiac guy, he was the guy who...
Well, to be honest, it was always implied that the god was male, but who really knows? Because they always just called him the god.
That's true. So I don't know what he was, but it looked like he was.
That kind of also gave us the kind of okie doke as far as Akito went, because it's like, well, yeah, they didn't say.
Well, for the show, it showed that she was born female, but they told her to be raised. They told her to act and be raised as a male. So that I guess to give respect.
Mom, because the dad. It seemed like the dad was a pretty cool guy, but the mom just twisted.
Her mom was like one of those moms.
That's why Akito was so twisted.
Daughter.
She never gave her any type of like love because she, like you said, she was jealous of her
own daughter. Yeah,
and she was like, "Yeah, no, I will not accept this child unless we raise her as male." So she didn't even get a chance to be who she really was. It's one thing if she like maybe identified as male, but no, she was forced
to be. Yeah, and I like that at the end after she got her own healing. But let's just be real, Akito. I hated Akito the whole series.
I hated Akito for most of it as well. But then at the very end,
I understood, but I still was like, no. I mean, what she did still wasn't right. She abused like all the people.
I sympathized with her situation, but I think the reason that I had more understanding for her is because Toru forgave her, and I think that's true for most of the Zodiac, other than Rin. Who couldn't really.
I thought it was so realistic because I was like, no, she abused Rin the most because she was a female, and
pushed her off a freaking building,
almost killed her.
Like that would take some superhuman forgiveness for that. And she was
too
like,
much.
She was like, no, it's too much. I can't forgive her.
I thought it was, and I was like, Rin needs some
that's
Uber
realistic.
therapy.
And I mean, the ones who did forgive her, I felt like they forgave her because they were abused by her, so they understood abuse. And plus, well, no, it wasn't always just her, because like freaking Yuki, he was basically sold. So
and then he became her little puppet to just torture and torment.
So even though it wasn't his parents
abuse.
who personally did it, it's like you sold your child to be treated however.
Yeah, and I just thought that was disgusting. Just like I said, this show shows so much about parents doing the wrong things, not talking to their kids, not caring, not loving. Like, Reen's whole issue was that the parents were fine with her, and then she said one comment, and then they turned around and, like, just forsook her. And I was just like, what the hell?
Well,
y'all
apparently,
so much
from the way they were describing it, it sounds like the parents were never okay with her, but they pretended, but it seemed like just broke the facade.
Yeah, and it seemed like a lot of the parents that had the kids who were born to the Zodiac, they were all, like, not happy with them. It was just... And they blamed the kid for it. And I'm like, but they didn't ask for this. I feel like
Kyo's mother
was messed up.
She was messed up, but too. I don't feel like...
Kyo's the cat, y'all.
Yeah, Kyo's the cat. The one who everyone, like, basically excluded.
And the one that Toru loved the most.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, like, I felt like his mother loved him, but she was so verbally and emotionally abused by her husband. Because then you thought it makes it...
like he blamed her, but I'm like, you're the Soma. She's not a Soma. So it's like, why are you blaming her for her having a kid and the kid coming up with a cat curse?
Yeah, but it makes it seem like she killed herself because she couldn't deal with Kyo being the cat spirit. But then you find out at the end, like, all of these things that were, like, said to him. He said these abusive things not only to Kyo, he said it to his wife. And his wife finally couldn't handle it. Because you think that it's because she couldn't handle having a Zodiac spirit, but it's because she was so verbally and emotionally abused by her husband
for everything. That's what I could not stand about this whole thing. That I was like, everyone are blaming these children for what they cannot control, and no one is loving on these children and building them up. And I was like, so except for Hiro's mom was nice, and I feel like Kisa, who played the boar, who was like, they're both children, they're both like middle school age kids.
No, she was the tiger.
I'm sorry, you're right. She's the tiger. I feel like her mom was trying, but still, like, I think that her mom still loved her, but she was trying, but she just couldn't deal with it. The monkey, who wasn't in the show that much, I feel like his mom was fine with it. You know what I mean?
Even though she was a little erratic.
They both were. All that apologizing was annoying.
They had their own seemingly non-curse related issues.
Then I guess that was one of my drawbacks too, because I was like, you didn't really incorporate the monkey into the show at all.
But I don't feel like that's always necessary. I mean... Because I see what you're saying.
I guess, but it would have been nice to have another episode about her. Like, they only had 2 episodes where you see the monkey, really.
But I guess maybe it's because of what the show was focusing on. Because I felt the show was kind of really about trauma and healing.
Yeah.
And because like, the monkey wasn't really...
He didn't have as much problem.
Yeah, he wasn't really traumatized. I mean, he had his issues.
Yeah, he was a
but they were like personality quirks rather than like trauma-related issues.
Yeah, and then I like that this show addresses the issues of different relationships.
Yes.
Like, there was so many different relationships where the mom, they talked about her mom and her relationship, and it was like the positivity from having a good mom.
Yes.
Just like pour it out of her and into these people. Like,
and she was so good that she was like a mother figure to other people. Like, Uo-chan, she saved her from like her gang life.
Yes.
And then like she, like Hanajima, I mean, they didn't show like backstory on her as much, but it's like you could see them in the picture. They were like all together. She was this mother figure.
Yeah, she had her 2 little episodes where they explained what happened to her, how she was bullied, which is a common thing in Asian movies and stuff. I mean, bullying is common everywhere, but like school trauma and bullying is like a given. It's like a given.
Yeah.
For Japanese dramas and stuff. And I remember
even
Koreans
Kyo.
Too. And
like
Kyo,
you feel like she had like a mothering type of moment with Kyo.
Yeah,
and she was just such a great mother figure and like so nurturing and positive.
Everybody needed that, and it was like they gravitated towards her. Like it was like one by one. As soon as they were, and I don't know why Akito allowed it from the beginning, because normally anybody finding out their secret, they would have watched their memories and then that's it. But
well,
I don't
from
know
what
why
they
Akito
implied in the first season, Shigure like manipulated it so that Akito would allow it, because I feel like it was almost like a competition.
Yeah, you know what, Shigure, like I'm not gonna lie, the whole time I watched the series, I was always confused. I was like, is she really a good guy or a bad guy? And
I wondered that too, because for most of it seems like he's a good guy, but then you have these moments when he admits himself, he was like, I'm very selfish and I don't care about anyone but myself.
Yeah, he was just doing whatever.
But
he wasn't that bad, but then he was also not very good. And then he's mostly
kind of just selfish, shady. But I think overall a good guy, because he's like, I think that this is going to work out if this happens.
Yeah, I don't think he was bad. I don't think he was bad, actually.
No.
I just think he was like, he didn't mind, like, letting some things slide. He's just like one of those gray characters. But at the same time, I don't think he was ever let anything go into the black. And I think he wanted to use Toru to impact the family. Maybe he foresaw that somebody like her can fix this family.
I think
maybe
he really did, because he
that.
said that like he tried to put some things in motion. He was like, I couldn't have exactly predicted it. I had my guesses, but
and it was just like he was manipulating things, but not all in a bad way. Manipulation is not great, but it's like he was manipulating them to get an outward result, because at the same time, Akito went on a stabbing spree at the end.
Yeah, and looking at who his opponent was, like, manipulation was probably necessary.
The best way, yeah. That whole storyline of Shigure and Akito totally threw me. Not only having Akito be the girl, but I just was like, wow.
The fact that he was like
in love with her the whole time.
But also kind of hated her because of how she
how she treated everybody.
Yeah.
She was a hoe for sure. I'm just she wasn't a hoe for sure. She was just mean, y'all. I mean, y'all gotta watch this series to see how mean she is.
Yeah,
she's like, I just couldn't stand her.
Psychotic levels.
Yes.
But then you also look at her mother, though, and you're like, I understand.
Yeah. And her father died early.
I mean, it doesn't make it okay, but I understand.
Yeah, it's not okay.
And the only person, that was like the person who loved her no matter what. The one
and then the problem is she had all these bonds with them, and I got it that she was afraid. They raised her to feel like she was exceptional, but did not put any parameters on her to know that you can't just be treating anybody anyhow. So if you don't have any examples to show you how to be a good person, you're not going to be a good person. So that part I got, and I just the trickle effect.
Yeah, the servants made me mad, like the head servant or whatever, because like
that's what the servants do.
I understand that the father is gone, and the mother is just basically. Well, she wasn't locked away, but she was like, you didn't see her very often because she was seemed like she was abusive towards Akito.
I feel like Akito, since she was the head of the family, that she was just like, lock her up. I don't want to see her.
Yeah.
Because her and her mom, she could kill her own mom. That was what was worse. Like, she could, like, if they didn't get her hands off her throat that one scene, I was like, yo, this is a really bad relationship.
She was
really about to kill her mom right there in front of us.
They were, but I'm like, y'all, these like servants who are like the caretakers, I'm like, y'all should have done some stuff. Maybe they felt like they couldn't because they were servants, but you shouldn't have like endorsed her the way she treated. She's crazy. Like, you should have been here because blah 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 blah. I'm like, no, this person's been abused. They need to go.
It was a lot, and my thing was the Rooster story. I was just like, wow. So his bond broke so long, but because of her, he stayed and sacrificed his life. Oh, he was the best. He was like the version of her, the male version of Toru.
Loyal.
I mean, but what she did to him at the end, Akito was wrong.
Shigure said it. He was like, Shigure was pretty cold to him because of the whole
he was mad because Shigure, because he and her slept together. And he was like, oh no, you touched my girl. He's like, well, you didn't claim it, so you slept with her mom. So there you go.
Shigure kind of had a point, because Shigure was like, he always seemed like such a dog. I mean, he was a dog, but like a dog, like a metaphorical
dog. He was a dog, yeah.
But he was also kind of wise beyond his years, because he's like, you didn't do her a favor by promising to stay with her. It probably would have been better if you had left. And she said the same thing. She was like, you should have left.
Exactly. And let's talk about the relationships between Toru, the love that was going on. So one of the things I like, that not only did she show love to every one of them, but it was almost like her relationship with the main two boys, Yuki and Kyo. I enjoyed that so much, because you just saw Yuki, he was like this really insecure person that was so traumatized by his upbringing and his aloneness, and he just blossomed into a strong man.
He
did. At the end, I was so proud of him. One of
my favorite like little comedic parts were at the very beginning of the series, was when they talked about how Yuki never let like someone get too close, and it showed the little overly animated part where it's like the little girl tried to hug him and she's like knocks her out, and then it says like, Princely Scuttle.
They called him the prince of the school. He's the cool guy, the prince of the school. I love Yuki so much. But the fact that they called it a Princely Scuttle was just like...
you know,
an anime had all of its elements, of course, of fun and crazy. I love how, like, again, that's one of the things you love about anime, is how they depict these moments of, like, you're, like, talking about moments where, like, really... Or like these sarcastic moments, or you just like, the way they depict it is just so funny and interesting and outlandish that you just have to laugh. And I'll just be like, man, you know? Or every time him and Kyo would fight, because cats and rats fight, and he would just kick him one leg. I just went down. Be like, Kyo, you can't get a lick. Like,
yeah, but I was afraid for a while because I was like, dang it, this love triangle. I'm like,
I wanted her to go for Yuki at first. I really did.
I was actually going for Kyo.
I remember when I was watching this back in school, I wanted her to give it Yuki because I liked Yuki because he was kind. Kyo was irritating to me because he was always getting mad and stuff. But as an adult, I was seeing it and I was like, oh, no, he needs her more. You know?
Yeah, I was always Team Kyo. I always liked Yuki, but I just didn't see her and him together.
I was like, I wasn't sure. I was watching it and I was like, I wasn't sure. Because that one time where in season 2 where they went to the beach and he was saying something, he like he couldn't like voice what he really wanted to say to her, how grateful he was to her. But I didn't know that it was because he was seeing her as a mother figure that he didn't have. Even though he had his real mother.
And he was kind of embarrassed about that too, that he saw her as a mother figure. He's like, so I tried to make it into something it wasn't.
Yeah. And that's why I was like, when he was like, you do look cute, and all this stuff. And I was just like, are you into her? I couldn't tell. Even she was confused. Tora was like, I don't know what to make of this. But I love that she always loved the cat. Like, she's like, no, I love the cat. And even though he was always the one getting like very short with her and stuff, but I don't know why, but she just gravitated
short with everyone. But she was the only one where he would try to check himself or apologize when he realized.
And she alone accepted him even after seeing his true form. So the cat not only turns to a cat, but then if he takes those beads off, he turns into a monster. And I don't know why that happened, because none of the other Zodiacs turn into like a monster version of
I think it was because of the story or whatever. Because you remember how when they told the final true story, how they were like, the cat was like, "Why did you do this? Like, I neither wanted nor needed this
to be eternal life,
eternal." And so the other Zodiac creatures like shunned him. Because of that, saying, thinking he was ungrateful. He's like, no, I'm not trying to be ungrateful. I'm just saying everything goes.
Has its purpose, and it was time for them to be done with this.
And even though I felt like the god understood when the cat explained, the rest of them had already shunned him, and I think that's why it got twisted. So they saw him as like a monster for not being grateful.
It must have
so maybe
manifested into that. Because that was the part I didn't understand. I was like, why is the cat seem nice? Once they explained that story at the Zodiac story at the end of the last season, I was like, why did he turn into a monster then? Why was he the monster?
I think it's because that's how the other Zodiac creatures viewed him.
Yes. Okay. So I loved how to me, Yuki's story was like, his growth was the best.
I love that he actually fell in love with someone too.
Yes. I love that everybody got somebody at the end of this. I was like, yes, I was loving it. And I have to say that
I was surprised by Yuki's brother though, because I'm like,
I thought he was gay too, so I was surprised.
I think maybe he was bisexual or something.
Maybe he was just a metrosexual man. Because you remember, they kept talking about how they love seeing the girls and the cute little high school girl. And I was like, Japanese men can do that. And it's just part of their perversion.
I felt like maybe he might have been bisexual. Because remember, like, when they talked about when they met with, like, the administrators, he was like, direct your love at me. We have no chance of having children. I just thought
he was flamboyant, like, and proud.
It could be. It could have gone either way. He might have been, like, maybe he was gay. Maybe he was bisexual. Maybe he was just a flamboyant straight man.
Yeah.
And maybe he was a gay guy who fell in love with this one girl.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I was happy for him too. I really was. I liked how the show ended.
I was still unsure though, even though he said he loved her. I was like,
because in the books, in the manga, everybody gets to somebody. Okay. I only felt bad for Kagura because Kagura we don't really know. I think there might be something, but we don't really know what happened. And she was in love with Kyo from the beginning, and then Kyo fell in love with Toru, and she was out. You know, I like that she was the only one that could really get at him because she was always coming in and like, there's always like the strong girl who can like break doors and shit on animes. She's always like, yes, you're always like the one that she comes and she's like cute, and then she turns into the evil one. So they always have one of those in all the animes.
Poor Shigure's house.
Yes, man, Shigure's, they just done broke up everything and it's falling to the ceiling, breaking the doors. I was like, Japanese people, why I got these paper doors anyway? They're so breakable. Like, I was like, but let's talk about Kyo and Toru real quick. I really loved his story,
and I loved what they were almost the message they had about love, because like Kagura was like, no, you can't just pity him. You can't be a love born out of pity.
Yes, it had to be real.
It was, and like
real.
Toru was just so loving.
Yeah, she took a lot
to everyone, like whether it's motherly or sisterly or in the case of Kyo, like romantic love, she was like, no, I want him. Like, I love him.
That's what I love. At first you would think she's like ditzy or whatever, but I like that they made her very strong in her
emotional intelligence.
Wanted. She had high emotional intelligence, and she stated what she wanted. She always told the truth.
High empathy, because even with Akito, like, she still, like, even when after she stabbed her in the hand with the knife, she was like, no, I see you now.
And she fell over a cliff for that bitch. I'm just saying. I mean, but yeah, you can't blame the cliff for crumbling, but still.
Yeah, but I loved how she was like, once she saw, she was like, I understand now. She was like, I understand that you're hurting as well, and you're lashing out because you hurt. And I want to be there for you. Mm-hmm. She really was. She was like that the story that Momiji told about the woman who gave away all of herself
until it was nothing. But you think that person is stupid, but she really wasn't. She was the best of everyone. Mm-hmm. I mean, that analogy was so great. And I was like, those are rare people that can do all that. And she was cleaning for them, cooking for them, doing it, and she loved doing that. There's rare, not a lot of people like doing that. Loved them.
She didn't do it for accolades. She didn't do it for,
she just loved everybody, and she wanted to meet all the Zodiac
genuinely
people.
Loved them.
And even though Hiro was coming at her the wrong, and Hiro and Rin were like the meanest ones to her, but she was still so nice to them.
And I loved how complicated Rin was, because Rin was like, she's kind. Horse. And because she's kind, I don't want her to get close to me because kind people always end up getting hurt. So she was like, I'm going to push her away. I'm going to be mean to her because I actually want her to be my friend.
Yeah. And I felt so much for Rin. She was so battered. She was, I think, the most broken out of all of them. I really think, besides Akito was up from the beginning. Yeah. But when it comes to what she did, what Akito did as being part of the Zodiac and what happened to her, I feel like Rin was just the most broken one. Because she just couldn't handle all that was going on. She was constantly hospitalized and then leaving the hospital and then getting her and then pushing people away. And I was like, Haru and her, I love the little goth people. Like, I don't know if goth or like alternative coupling they were, but they were so great.
They were.
And I love how much he stood for her all the time. And he was like, I'm here. Don't try to run away. And he just like, Haru just cared about everybody. The Ox, he was just, I loved him. He really
was. I did love him.
I did love him, but I just felt for Rin so bad because she was just like, I was like, Rin needs a lot of therapy.
She does.
But she's going to be okay. But she needs a lot of therapy.
She was trying, and she didn't know how to
voice it.
Toru and Rin were trying for the same thing, but Rin just didn't have the levels of emotional intelligence needed. And it wasn't her fault. She didn't have like that loving influence to have given her like Toru did. Like Toru was loved so well that she knew how to love other people.
Even after her mom died tragically, and she's just a young girl.
Her mom gave her like a lifetime of love to do that. And I was so glad that they went back to the scene with Kyo and her mom. Because I'm like, did she really say that? That's so sad. But then they were like, I'll never forgive you if you don't. And I'm like, oh, that's what she was.
I'm gonna say this because the first 2 seasons were 25 episodes each, and then the last one was just 13 episodes. And I'm telling you, this was the most succinct season. It was like perfect. Like this last season, if I had to just grade the season 10 was perfect. I would give it a
3.
My bad. Season 3 gets a 10. Excuse me. Season 3 gets a 10 because it was like so succinct. You didn't need all the extra. It was just like you're following the stories. Bam. And it just ended so perfectly. Those last few episodes, I had to watch them again. I was just beautiful. In awe. It was such beautiful moments. Emotional catharsis. I loved it.
I love how the ending scene where it shows all the pictures before they walk. I love how you see that there's a picture of Toru's mother and father. Because she always had the picture of her mother. Because she felt, by the end, you could tell that she felt conflicted about her father. Yeah. She was like, I feel like you almost took my mother away because... And then I feel guilty because I know it's your fault. It wasn't your fault. But I love how, like, her trauma was healed as well. Toru's to the point where she could actually have the picture out.
And I mean, what Toru did the most was like she helped everybody accept themselves the way they couldn't do before, especially Kyo. Kyo has such self-hatred. And she, like, melted that away for him. Even to the point where the girl told him to his face, I love you, I pick you, I'm not going nowhere. He was like, I'm disappointed in you. I was like, what kind of reaction is that? I was so mad.
It's like, dude, that's a lot of trauma, dude.
That's so much self-hatred to be like, somebody's telling you that they saw the ugliest part of you and still wants you and loves you, and you cannot accept that? Oh, you are messed up. But he came back and he realized... then oh my God,
I love how she ran away.
Yeah, after she got out of the hospital, Lord have mercy, this girl's always getting hurt or something. I don't know how you survive a cliff fall and still, but it is an anime. But I was like, she fell off a cliff and still survived. Anyway, but I love it. But then she just ran because I don't blame her. That kind of reaction. You're just like, wow, it's kind of like a rejection of my love.
I would be embarrassed.
I would be embarrassed too.
I don't want to see them again. They're
like,
so
I was wrong because I was like, I thought you loved me, but you didn't, and I would be embarrassed too. Mm-hmm. I don't blame her reaction, but I love how he came together. He's like, I'm faster than you, damn it! I'm running after you. I was like, you better go get her. That's what I love. Yuki like manned up to him and was like, you better go get her. Like, stop all this foolishness. Stop moping around, and you better fix this and go get her. I love his speech to him at the end. I still wish they had solved their issue. Like, I feel like because they had grown up,
like they did.
It's unsaid, but it was like they wanted to be friends the whole time, but they were just fighting the whole show.
That would have been kind of weird for them, like that kind of interaction.
It's because they're so used to hating each other, but they actually wanted to be like each other the whole time. You can't kill.
I felt like the final one where they're like stupid cats.
Yeah,
it was like kind of like brotherly love.
Yeah,
kind of way.
yeah, and I just like how everybody like went their separate ways and. Even I like how her sister,
but I loved that it was kind of sad because it's like, no, you guys have all been trapped here for this long.
They needed to all spread their wings and go.
Yeah,
and honestly, I'm so glad because it was one of the things I loved so much that was touching me was that she wanted to find a way to break the curse because she saw how the curse was damaging these people that she'd come to love, and she saw how it was damaging this family, and she was like, she went to Kyo's named father. Not his real father, but the one that like actually treated him like a father-son relationship.
His adoptive father, essentially.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Adopted father, and his dojo master. Mm-hmm. And he was like, she came to him. And she's like, "How do we break this curse?" Because he was one of the Soma family. Mm-hmm. His grandfather was the cat before him, and he witnessed his father being locked up forever. And I'm just like,
grandfather.
My bad. He witnessed his grandfather being locked up for the rest of his life. I was like, are you serious? That's right there is crazy.
Yeah.
Why would you lock the man up? He had the beads on, but he still locked him. I was like, this is not.
But I
cool.
love that. I love what that brings up another point. I love how at the end, Akito's like, I'm burning down that place. Even before all of the curses had broke, she's like, I'm burning down that.
Yeah, because she locked Reen in there for a while. And I was like, that's why I was like, she was particularly cruel to Reen. And I was like, this is ridiculous. You cut all her hair, you knock her out, you throw her from a building, and then you lock her up in that place. I was like, man, I don't blame her, where she was the only one that said, I can't just forgive her. And I'm like, I don't blame you at all, Reen. You need some therapy. That's all it is.
And I like the kind of growth you could already see in Akito at the end, when everyone's like, we're going to see Toru off, and it's like, are you going? And she's like, no.
Better than to go.
Because she's like, no, I have done so much trauma to these people. It would be not good to show up. She was like, I can just visit her on my own. Yeah. And then you could see from that they became friends.
I just like that she even realized that she was trying to apologize and she knows she couldn't. She's like, she knows that a simple sorry cannot suffice for the trauma and affliction of pain she had done to all these people. To this whole group. She's like, you guys were my bond, my family. And the weird thing is she just wanted to gather them together, and instead of gathering them in love, it was like she had repelled them so much.
She chained them.
Yes, what was meant to, I loved it.
I think one of the characters said it. What was meant to be a bond became chains.
Yeah, and I love that the bonds were broken, and it was just like one by one, everybody was getting freed, and the curse was getting broken. I was like, this is great.
And I love how like the amount of high emotional intelligence Toru had. She was like, they told her that she was special, but what they did was they just made her even more of an outsider than the rest of the outsiders.
Yeah.
And I love, you know what? I just thought about it. That's what this is about. Fruits Basket, when they talked about that, they called her the rice ball when the rest of the fruit. It's about being an outsider
and not being welcomed in, and not having a place, and being afraid. And this show has so much. Like, you really have to watch it, y'all. Like, it's really good for learning. Whoever made this was ahead of their time. I can't imagine. Maybe that's why I didn't get finished in the early time, because I don't think it finished those earlier episodes, the earlier animation. But they're like, no, we're gonna bring this back. We're gonna finish it, and we're gonna finish it right. And it was perfect. Time. It was perfect.
It was oh my god, the ending was excellent. The whole series was excellent.
I'm in awe,
and that's what I wanted to like when we were talking earlier in the episode. I was like, I just wanted to talk about that, especially in the dramas.
Yeah.
I love how they're so focused. They usually have something underlying. Like in this, it's about being
acceptance
and about being an outsider and stuff.
Abuse,
and that was the kind of thing that was tying together the series, like the underlying theme.
Oh, okay. Underlying theme, yeah.
And I love how well they do that, especially in anime. Anime is some of the best, the really great anime that does some of the best jobs of doing
great vehicles of storytelling.
And I love how they use it as a vehicle, because they use the curse, but by halfway through season 2, then season 3, you don't even really see anybody turn into it anymore. It's no longer kind of like that supernatural element thing. It's really
just dealing with the family and their issues.
It's really about a drama. And I love how they did that. It's because this is what it's really about, but this is just a vehicle we're using
to really get into some of these societal issues. You could see that these were some societal things that they talk, but they used these kind of fantastic elements to really get you in,
draw you in.
Otherwise, you're just what's this regular story?
But then you stay because the story is so good, even though you don't even really see
the characters are all dynamic,
anymore.
interesting. And I remember I kept wanting to know. I was like, where's the next Zodiac? I wanted to know what's their issue, what's their story.
And I also love the healing between Yuki and Ayame.
Beautiful.
His brother was he came to me and I ignored him and didn't even acknowledge that I had a brother for most of my life. And he was now I want to be there for my brother because I wasn't there for him before. And then with the parent-teacher conference, I was like, Ayame, dude.
You were so awesome.
You were so awesome.
I love their relationship, even though he was still you're embarrassing.
But he's
Yuki was still get out of here.
Because he was trying to get himself up, but he hadn't quite gotten the courage together to defy his mother. But Ayame was like, bam! No, he gonna do what he wants. I'm telling you, he gonna do what he wants.
Man, it's just a really good series. You guys need to watch it. Let's rate it now, Whitney. Let's rate it.
All right, I'm giving it 10 glasses.
Pew, 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 pew. It's another 10 for me. I have never been so cathartically satisfied with an anime in my life than this, and I thought Belle was the pinnacle. This one had me all up in my feelings, all day.
Yes.
So it's 10 glasses.
Even though I think we gave Belle 10 as well. I think I would put this above Belle because it's just
definitely. It's definitely better than Belle.
I guess with the series you just have more time to go into stuff, but I would rate it above it as far as ranking. I would rank this above. It's just amazing.
It's amazing, y'all. Well, that is it from us. You guys go ahead and watch that Fruits Basket.
It's on Hulu, you guys.
Yes, it is, and we will let you guys know about the new things coming up soon.
All right.
So you guys just continue to blerd out. Have a wonderful weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe to our show on whatever podcast listening app you use and share the show with other Blerds and non-Blerds family and friends. And if you like our episode, please rate and review us on iTunes.
The intro and outro music is Twilight by Caption. You can find them on SoundCloud, username Caption, spelled CAPSHUN. The show notes are by Bola, Hanson, and the audio engineering is by Whitney Booker.
And you can contact us by email at blerdtalkbw@gmail.com. And also, don't forget to get social, you guys. You can find us on our social media at Instagram and Twitter, with our @handle being @blerdtalkbw. And we've got our individual things going on too, y'all. So you can find me, your Blerd Fashionista, on Instagram and Twitter at BolaStoryB. That's B with 2 E's like the insect. And I've got my own personal YouTube channel, just Bola Sade. That's BOLASHADE. D as in dog, E as in elephant.
And this is Whitney. You can find me at my company, Luminavi Studios. The email address is wit@luminavi.com. That's WHIT@LUMENAVI.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Luminavi Studios.